Hey everybody, and welcome to the Talkies, three filmmakers talking, well, about movies. I'm Kenny.
I am D.
I'm Taylor.
And today we are talking about Fellini's masterpiece, I guess. We'll see. That remains to be seen.
One of Fellini's movies.
But Fellini's La Dolce Vita, which I think means the sweet life. The sweet life.
I assumed.
Really interesting movie. Takes place in 1960s Rome. And I chose this movie for us to watch. And the reason I did, I hadn't seen it before. None of us had seen it. I chose it because more than a year ago, we covered 8.5. And It was one of my absolute favorite filmmaking or film viewing and reviewing experiences ever. One, because we went and watched the movie at Matthias Bambal's screening room, which was cool. And two, it was such a interesting movie to talk about. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, this guy's my jam. I need to see all the rest of his movies. After seeing this film, I'm like, this guy is even more interesting than I thought, and I don't know if I still want to see all his movies. With that being said, hot takes, Taylor.
I like this movie. I got the same feeling I got out of this that I got out of watching 8.5 the first time, where like when I watched 8.5 for the first time, I was kind of like, I thought it was good, but I didn't fully grasp it. I didn't fully grasp it, basically. And as I had some time away from the movie to think about it and watched 8.5 again, I started to like it more. I'm noticing the same trajectory with La Dolce Vita, where I saw it the first time. I still haven't seen it a second time. I really want to see it a second time because I think I'd like it a lot more now. But it was like a lot going on, a lot to wrap my head around, a lot of people talking and saying a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of talking.
Yeah.
What's
your hot
cool.
take, D?
This was, I liked the movie. It was fine.
That's hot.
There was this
sizzling
day in the life feel of the whole thing that was neat. I don't typically, I'm drawn to movies like this, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, and as for myself, it's interesting because I thought that 8.5 was pretty out there. Like it gets quite surreal. The imagery, it leaves a lot to be read into. Yeah, it's a very ungrounded sort of movie, which actually involves a scene where a man floats away. So ungrounded is a pretty good descriptor. But and this film was way more grounded. Like it felt rooted in reality. Like it felt very real.
And people were on the ground the whole time too.
And no one floated away.
Yeah.
But honest, it was much more challenging for me. This was like a challenging movie to hang on to, because it did the day in a life thing with like reckless abandon. I mean,
it did.
It was like extreme. Like I felt like he gave you nothing in terms of a story to try to grasp onto, like not even a hint of it. And when you felt like you were getting a hint of it, it went another direction entirely,
Seemed like that. Yeah.
And my pattern forming brain kept wanting to be like, okay, this person's important, this is setting up a thing, and nothing is setting up a thing ever.
Right.
There's definitely themes throughout, like the recurring in your face paparazzi, and just like the insatiable hunger of the media was just sort of prevalent throughout. People kind of thinking they have meaning, finding their meaning in life from one place and then committing suicide, or showing, finding that they're miserable. That seems to be a theme.
Yeah.
But it's really something you float through. This is a movie you float through.
It seemed that way. It seemed like it was a pontification on nihilism and also nothing. Both nihilism and nothing.
Wait a minute. I'm going to talk about nihilism, but also nothing.
I felt like it was like if there was a philosophical note to this when we're talking about, since what's his name? Who was the main character? What's his name?
I forgot.
I can't remember now.
Anyway, the main character. Yeah, we saw this movie like weeks ago.
Yeah, he was in 8.5 too.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he stars in 8.5.
Anyway, well, that dude, the main character, he was such a he was a what is the thing? He was a paparazzi guy, right?
He's a tabloid journalist.
Well, he wasn't. He was the journalist. Yeah,
right. And he was just going like from woman to woman to woman.
Yeah, and was in a committed relationship to one.
Right.
I was gonna say, it's like about stardom, fame, and fidelity a little bit.
Yeah, like there was a lot of that in it, and because there was so much in it and not really hanging on to any one of those, I want to say that the whole thing was about nihilism, but then maybe not, because I didn't really get any depressing vibes from this. It was more Wolf of Wall Street than it was.
I feel like you could say almost any movie's nihilism if it doesn't have a story. Because I mean, like,
not that it didn't have a story. It's just that
it's just that I feel like it's clear, or more clear, that it's like about fame thematically and stardom and like privacy and fidelity.
I mean, it was in it, but I wouldn't say it was about it.
The one article I read that made me feel like, okay, there's something this movie is about. A guy basically was claiming that the film was more or less about capturing what the counterculture, an emerging counterculture, had really taken over Rome in the 1960s, and this is the seat of piousness. This is the home of the Catholic faith, right? And his film basically just highlighted this kind of like rising free love, obsessed with fame lifestyle that had become prevalent in Rome, and because of it, it was like the most controversial movie of the year. And leadership in the Catholic Church decried, Fellini, called him an apostate. He had serious blowback from the church. There were protests against this movie. And I thought that was so strange because it doesn't feel super anti-religious, other than, I mean, there's the one scene with the kids that said they saw the Madonna, and they clearly sort of makes it look like they're just faking for attention. But mostly it caused an uproar because he shined, a bright light on how what Rome had changed into.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This movie coined the phrase paparazzi.
Did it really?
Yep.
Wow.
Because there's a character in this movie named Paparazzo, who was one of the photographers. And so paparazzi is a plural of that, and it's from this movie coined by Fellini himself.
See, I was so confused whenever he said paparazzo. I'm like, that's the dude's name? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you got it backwards.
That's funny. That's funny. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a real fun fact.
Super fun.
Fun fact.
Everyone knows what a paparazzi is, but like not everyone knows La Dolce Vita.
Yeah.
You know, it was really there were so many like odd sequences in this movie, but for me, the one where his father came in to the story, I almost feel like all these sequences are like separate short films with a consistent character. But the sequence with his father coming in and being like almost more of a playboy than he was really interesting. And they go to that club, and we have full-on music numbers. And supposedly every Fellini film has a scene that looks like the circus. Like he's kind of like that's one of the things he's really into is the circus, and so that's the circus scene for this movie. And then that bit again, where the kids saw the Madonna and all the people showed up to kind of like worship them, and they had all the lights and stuff set up in the dark. Reminded me a lot of the closing scene of 8.5, where everyone shows up to have their little dance party outside. And that's about all I have left to say. Your turn.
The day in the life thing is, I think, what threw me for the movie, because I didn't really grab a hold of that format for a large portion of the movie. I kept kind of waiting for the plot to start happening.
Yeah, same here. That's what made it challenging for me. It made the movie feel extremely long.
Yeah,
to me.
I enjoyed the watch, and but sometimes that happens with a movie with movies when I watch them, where I don't know what it is until I've watched all of it. And then once I've watched all of it, I can then come back to it, watch it again, knowing what it is, and then have a better informed opinion on it. And that's what happened with 8.5 for me. When I watched it again, I was like, oh, I completely understand. Like, this movie went from being like vague to like concrete after like 2 viewings.
Nice.
So I gotta watch this movie again. Maybe we should do this a revisit of La Dolce Vita.
There's a lot of films I have taken the time to watch twice before we talk about it.
I wanted to watch one of the movies that we saw twice. I don't remember which one it was, but I don't like the day in the life film technique. What was that other one that came out kind of recently? Boy's Life? Is that what it was called?
Boyhood?
Boyhood, yeah. I started watching that, and
where it was A Life in a Life.
That's the Linkletter
basically
one.
Yeah, Life in Life, yeah.
So it's interesting you brought that up, because I was going to bring up Linkletter as well, because he made Before Sunrise, and he made 2 sequels to it. That's the Ethan Hawke film. It's like literally 2 characters. It's Before Sunrise is probably the film that made him famous and put him on the map, and it's literally, you follow a couple who meets one evening and then spends the whole night kind of roaming a town together and talking about philosophy and what makes you happy in life. And it's very, very kind of free-flowing, lightly structured sort of movie. I thought about that a lot while watching this film. Only with, I think the thing that makes a movie like Before Sunrise more graspable is it largely just sticks with these 2 characters, right? And so you get really, really intimate with them. And that sense of intimacy was way less prevalent in this film, with going to so many places and being in so many settings. And
I wouldn't call
I never felt like I was in there with them, really. Yeah.
It's like the opposite of intimate, actually.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yes.
We all agree with each other.
I like the opening scene when Jesus is flying in.
That was really cool.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool. I like when they flew over the roof that had the like sunbathing women.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
And yeah, they all get so excited because he brings out a camera.
That right there, I think that was my first clue to this being a day in the life movie, because because the shots went to each specific girl and then each specific person in the helicopter, and then when the helicopter landed, then it cut to other people. It's like everyone got their own close-up. I'm like, oh, it's this kind of movie. Everyone's a main character.
Yeah.
It's really a unique film. Maybe it's not unique if you watch the rest of his movies, I don't know, but
or you could say he's unique.
Yeah, I was watching it with headphones on, and Amber comes and sits down behind me while I'm watching it, and she can see the subtitles, and so she sits there for like 10 minutes and like reads a scene, completely out of context, and she's like, this looks like the weirdest movie you've ever watched. Like, what on earth are they talking about? Like, how can that even be attached to some kind of story? And I'm like, it's really not. It's like, it feels totally unanchored to any kind of story at all. Yeah. Don't get invested to these characters. You'll be disappointed.
You'll be disappointed.
Look for a cultural understanding of Rome in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Well, you should watch it like you're anthropologist. Yeah,
that's pretty good. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Wow, this was a cold pizza, guys.
Well,
it's a little bit.
There's been a little bit of time between, unfortunately.
Yeah, and so obviously our 3-week window of not doing our episode has diminished the movie in our minds, but at the same time, this movie's as hard to talk about as it is to watch. Like it's not easy. It's still I'm still having a hard time with this film.
Yeah, it felt really long. Like, we've seen some pretty long movies in the past, and this one felt the longest to me.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I need to see it again so I could have a better grasp of what it is. Like, I feel like I just have a very surface impression of it, but I don't really know exactly what it is yet. I'm just trying to get a comprehension of it.
Indecisive, non-conclusive episode of the Talkies ever.
I almost feel like I can't have an opinion on it. Like, I feel like I need to watch it again before I can have a solid opinion.
The general consensus of this episode is, well, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen.
I got the perfect pizza for this.
Really?
Yeah, this is when you call in an order and it hasn't got there yet. And you're still waiting. You're like, is it coming?
It's a pizza that hasn't been delivered yet.
That's funny. Yep. You know, I started to like the movie a lot more as soon as after I watched the movie. I just read a brief synopsis of it, and then I was like, oh, you know what? That's awesome. That's cool.
What did the synopsis say?
The synopsis would have saved. I found the same thing, that I'm like, this would have saved me some trouble, because the synopsis said, like, in like 2 sentences, it said something about how, like, it's about a guy floating through a period in time in Rome. You know, and I'm just like, okay.
A series of stories following a week in the life of a philandering tabloid journalist living in Rome.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's interesting. I mean, I knew that's what it was. I didn't look up the synopsis. That's cool that I was so close on it. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I read that and I was like, oh, you know what? That is what it was.
I agree with the description.
They had to spell it out for you.
Yeah. I got a really small brain, guys.
Well, that goes without saying, but
very wrinkly, very small.
Yeah, well, wrinkles are good.
No.
The wrinkles are for things you learn.
No.
You get a wrinkle every time.
You want every time. Smooth brain.
It's like your brain's like a pearl.
Yes, that's the mark of true intelligence, is a smooth brain.
Smooth?
Yes.
Really big and really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I have a very tiny, wrinkly
big
brain.
And smooth.
Huh?
I got your big and smooth right here. All right.
A ball. A giant ball.
This episode rated M.
M for mature.
Okay.
Peggy 18.
All right. Does that count as your pizza? Did you do your pizza then?
Oh man, I don't think this even counts as an episode. But yeah, that's my pizza.
This doesn't count as an episode. We should put it out and put not an actual episode.
I know. I got it.
Still publish it.
We'll save the episode. New segment. I've invented a new segment, and we're all doing it, and you don't get any input.
Okay. I agree.
We're gonna do a brief roundup of what we've watched independently, and our hot takes on that to make up for the segment.
I love that. Love it.
I'll go first. I haven't watched anything in a while, so.
D's only been playing games in indie developers have sent him.
Actually, yeah. I watched Schindler's List recently.
That's still good. Movie.
This is an awesome segment. I love this. This has been great. So
Schindler's List is a little depressing, isn't it?
I was laughing the whole way through.
Yeah, it's a comedy, dude.
That shit was hilarious.
I saw The Trial of the Chicago 7, and I saw Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And The Trial of Chicago 7, in my humble opinion, is Aaron Sorkin's best film.
Ooh.
I loved it. Ooh. I loved it. Yep.
It's his only directorial effort on cinema.
Ooh. Wait, didn't Aaron Sorkin a lot direct the Mac one?
Oh, Jobs?
Yeah. I thought he directed.
Maybe I don't know. You may be right.
I think so.
Or was that Danny Boyle?
Oh, that may have been Danny Boyle. Yeah, no, you're right. That was Danny Boyle. I didn't watch any movies. I saw The Outsider, which is a freaking great show that is also bad.
Cool.
Great.
We all have some of those.
I also watched
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Same thing.
Oh, I watched that too. But
I didn't watch that.
But it's the same thing that I said before, except without the good.
It's just a bad show.
But you still watched the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing. Yeah, because Amy and I, that's the only thing we can agree on.
Aside from Schindler's List, I also watched The 400 Blows.
Oh, yeah. This was interesting. Describe the title. Tell me about the title.
The title, The 400 Blows, well, it's just wrong. It's a complete mistranslation. And not only is it a mistranslation, it's nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. It has no relevance to the movie whatsoever. The original title, it's a French film by Truffaut, and the title is a unique French saying, and it's unique to French, and it kind of translates to something. What it should be is to raise hell, something kind of like that. But then it was translated. Apparently, then there was a kind of close translation into Swedish that made it the 400 risks or the 400 tricks or something like that, and then somehow that made it into the 400 blows in English for some reason. It's total nonsense. But it is probably one of my favorite movies. It's so good. Some of the best child acting ever.
Ooh.
Better than adult acting in a lot of cases.
And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom has honestly the most interesting performance by Chadwick Boseman I've ever seen. He takes on an extremely complex character and gives a performance where he is unrecognizable. It's nothing like you've seen him in other roles.
I hadn't seen him in anything else.
That movie gets really, really dark.
Very nice.
Highly recommend it. You'll be depressed.
Very nice.
Wow.
Thank you.
That segment really made up for the episode.
Yeah, now we're redeemed. Should we still try pizzas?
Yeah, we can do pizzas.
I'm still sticking with
the La Dolce Vita pizza. D says it's the pizza that hasn't come yet.
Yeah, right? Or it's a Dolce. I was trying to say the Mexican food.
Tres leche?
There you go.
Tres leche
That's
pizza.
Delicious. Oh, not pizza. Huh? I mean, I guess if you got different cheeses in there, maybe.
I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna call. Nope. I need more time. Just give me time. Give me a sec.
I have one.
Taylor.
I got a perfect one.
All right.
It's I'm at a fancy restaurant and I've ordered the spicy pepperoni pizza, and they do have a brick oven in the restaurant, and I see them make it and take it out, and then they come and they serve it to me. They put it down on the table, and it looks absolutely delicious. And that's as far as I've gotten. I haven't eaten it yet, so I don't know if it's good or not. But it looks delicious.
You kind of went the direction I was thinking. I was thinking you're at an Italian restaurant, and they and this has to almost be in a dream, right? So you have this dream where you're sitting at the table and they come out with the pizza and they're like, if you want the pizza, you'll have to catch me. And then they start walking very slowly and deliberately around the restaurant, but you can't catch them. Even though they're walking slowly and deliberately, you feel like you're on a treadmill and you can't reach them, and they keep looking back and smiling at you. That's it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to change my pizza.
All right.
Kenny's Pizza. That's my pizza.
All right.
My pizza is now, you go to a pizza buffet where they have pizza everywhere, but it's all the same pizza, and you keep getting it and you keep eating it.
See, all these sound like something you would never go back to a second time, but you're grateful you went the first. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, mine's remains to be said. It's like, it's just there. It was just served to me.
And next time you'll eat it.
Yes.
That's the exciting conclusion.
No, time froze right then and there. In that scenario, time just froze.
In mine, it's just never graspable. You'll never get it. It's like trying to reach the edge of the expanding universe. It's just impossible.
Wow.
I've been there.
Keep trying.
I've done it.
That's what watching La Dolce Vita is. It's reaching for the infinite and coming up short every time.
That reminds me of 2001.
This movie is exactly like 2001: A Space Odyssey. That is a perfect comparison.
There is no difference.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, hey, you've been watching the Talkies from Karman Line Studios. We put out podcasts whenever the fuck we want. And
that is correct.
and you can find them basically all the places where podcasts exist. Does anyone want to announce a movie for next time?
Whose turn is it?
Is it my turn?
No, it's D.
Yeah, so it would be...
Because last was Persona.
Yeah.
We did Persona.
That's
and
right.
then we did
dang.
this.
Okay, well then...
Pick another very slow black and white movie. Make it 3 in a row.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Next week, we're watching... So...
I don't want to watch.
You're going to have to.
Well, I've always been interested in...
I'm just going to leave those like that.
Just silent.
Not even looking at anything. Yeah.
Good. I love that. My favorite little joke that no one else cares
People
about.
Don't make it this far.
James Gunn won't make it this far.
James Gunn?
Yeah.
He watches?
Have you guys seen
man?
We have no, not James Gunn. James Gum.
Oh, James Gum.
Oh, does he comment on our episodes?
Yeah. He left like the best message ever.
Hey, we should start doing feedback on our comments in the episodes.
Yeah,
we can.
We probably should.
I think that's fun.
So James Gum says, the talkies are amazing. I'm absolutely craving new content from you guys. Love all three of you dudes. And craving is in all caps.
When did he comment that?
He commented this 3 days ago.
On what video?
On Mulholland Drive.
All right, fairly recent one.
Hey, James. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that you crave us, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it. Just because
we got to keep you in check, James.
Yeah, we demand a lot of our audience. Yeah,
we want to enter into a BDSM relationship
theory.
We're going to, yes, we're going to cuckold you.
What? That's in the Dolce Vita.
It is.
I think it works.
It's
it works.
not.
It works for me.
That has nothing to do with dad theory, though.
Who's your dad? What?
Dad theory.
I have let's go. Goodbye.